Good YouTube, and welcome back to another YouTube video. It's your girl Bofina1. Before we get started, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. But yeah, we're getting ready to start another POV video. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. The day that I'm currently recording on is Saturday, and it's kind of snowing out here. So it's, you know, it's definitely snowing, not snowing, but it's like icy out, I guess you could say. But pretty much what I wanted to get on here today and chat about was essentially, I've been seeing a lot of videos online recently talking about, just talking about how people rather be living in their cars right now. Like, people would rather live in their cars than, have to pay rent. That's a big thing. I've seen a lot of videos post online, and some people may be saying, well, like, hell, I would never rather, you know, live in my car. Like, you know, I would always 100% rather pay rent than be living in my car. The thing is, though, is that what you have to understand or realize is that so many people are literally struggling to just pay their rent. Like, they're literally struggling to just pay their rent, their utilities, whatever. And so some folks feel like if they stayed in their car or lived in their car, maybe they would be better off. And maybe they would be better off in a way, because think about it. If you're living in your car, right, you're not having to pay for rent. You're not probably having to pay for, well, you know, you're not paying for utilities. You're in your car. You're going to have, you know, heat or AC running depending on the time of year. But the whole concept is that you're saving a lot of money. And so some people, maybe they want to be homeowners. Maybe they want to buy their own property, and maybe they want to, you know, maybe they want to buy their own property. Maybe they want to have their own thing. And so, living in their car will help them get to that point, you know, because there's a lot of different ways that you can kind of like go about it, I guess you could say, like, in a smart way. And, you know, a lot of that has to do with a person being able to, like, for example, right, some people say, oh, if you live in a car, how are you showering? How are you this? Well, maybe you have a Planet Fitness membership or some type of gym membership, you know, that has a shower. You could go there every day and every night and go shower at the cost of what, 20 like, if you get the basic membership, I think it's like $9 a month. The, what is it, the black membership or the regular membership? It's not a lot of money. So right there, you don't have to pay. Yeah, you got to buy soap, obviously you got to have towels, you know, stuff like that, but you don't necessarily have to pay for utilities. And some folks would rather do that than paying rent somewhere where they have to pay for every single utility regardless. So that's one way. If you're not paying for rent, you're living in your car and you still have a job, well, you've just cut your living expenses down by a really, you know, good amount. So you can be using that money to invest into stocks or some form of investment, which is something that if you were paying this high rent where you only got maybe $50 or so left over, essentially you wouldn't be able to do that. And so I feel like that's kind of the whole, like, discussion. That's the whole thing right now, is that that's why so many people are choosing to live in their cars, because I think a lot of people are looking at it as a way of a means to ends. I think a lot of people, and I could be wrong, but I would say that I think a lot of people that are actually living in their cars, they're not looking to do this like for the rest of their life. No, they're looking at it as like a means to ends. Like, okay, I'm going to do this for a period of time, and you know, yeah, I'm going to do this for a period of time, and it's going to help me get to that next level. Because with me just having rent and trying to do it the traditional way, I'm not really seeing the gains. I'm not able to save. I'm not able to invest. I'm not able to get myself to that next point to maybe be a home buyer or whatever the case is, right? Where if you cut out that living cost, that living expense, and become a little more creative, you might be able to get there. I mean, there's people that literally are living in their cars and they're probably making buku money because they're getting a lot of views, because people are really curious about it. Like there's people that are getting hundreds and thousands of views off of living in their car videos. So that's what I'm saying. Like people nowadays with the internet are really becoming more and more creative, and with ways of like essentially how to make money, with ways of, you know, yeah, like how to make money, be creative. I mean, you can literally turn on your camera and look at TikTok. People post TikToks and weird stuff all the time, and the stuff goes viral. Like people are really figuring out ways to make money elsewhere. I mean, people are using their cars for gig work. Like think about that. You know, back in the day, you couldn't do that. You couldn't use your vehicle to do Amazon, and they didn't have Uber Eats and DoorDash and Road. You know, they just didn't have all these different things that they have now. So I feel like nowadays, you know, it's a smart move. Honestly, it is. Now, yes, you know, obviously there's some downsides to it, right? Like, of course, you know, if you are living in your car, you have to think about safety. So, you know, maybe probably being somewhere where there's maybe security or all night security, like a Walmart, right? You know, a place where that's probably the biggest thing that I would be concerned with living in my car is my safety, like my security. Because, you know, people are still in cars more now than they were back in the day. And people are, I don't want to say, people are just like into taking stuff more now than I think they were before. And so that would be my biggest thing, is the security part of it. But as far as like the logic behind it, like think about the average rent. Where I live, the average rent for just a studio is like $1,000. So if somebody that was living in that studio and they really couldn't afford to live there, if they just lived in their car for 6 months to a year, that would be anywhere from $6,000 to $12,000 that they could save, that they could invest. You know what I'm saying? Like that's so much money that they could put away that in other scenarios they just wouldn't have been able to do because of their situation. So with that being said, I do understand why people are doing it. You also have to think about too, like minimum wage and the cost of living is steadily going up, but people's wages are not. They're just not. People are like, minimum wage where I live is like 15, 16 bucks an hour. So think about that. Like, you know, you just do some quick math here, right? A person making, let's just say 16 bucks an hour at 40 hours a week is $640 times 2, because that's probably how you're getting paid every 2 weeks, is $1,280 gross. That's before taxes. But your rent is minimal $1,000. Like, how do you even get ahead with something like that? You get what I'm saying? So my personal opinion is, you know, people are doing it the smart way. Now, of course, are people going to judge? Are people going to have their opinions about it? Like, yeah, I mean, that's just the way it is. People are always going to have their opinions about what they think people should be doing and how stuff is inhumane. It's almost like those are the same people that talk about that, but then they're living in an apartment and they're only able to eat like a bologna sandwich every day and a bowl of cereal. You know, like they're stuck in the same spot that they was in 2-3 years. They're not really elevating. They're not really moving. Some people are able to see the short-term pain for the big-term growth. Like, okay, if I do this for the next, you know, like 6 months to a year, yes, it's going to be hard, but I'm going to get myself to that next level that I need to be at, because with what I'm doing now is not working. If you really think about it, in a way, like, you could look at that as like, that's like what they would call insanity, right? Like, insanity being that you do the same thing over and over and over, and you're hoping for a different result, but you never really get a different result because you keep doing the same thing. You're not doing anything different to try to get yourself out of that situation. It's the same concept if you think about it. So I applaud people that are doing that. I applaud people that are trying to use the different resources and are thinking outside of the box. But let me know what you guys think about this down below in the comment section. You know, what are your thoughts on, you know, people living in their cars? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's it's a bad thing? Do you think it's smart of these people? You know, let me know down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.